Hey, what's up guys? Coach Jamison here with Coach Bam and Coach Sarah. Today we're going to get into a nice little quick and easy back chain activation. This is going to be great for getting into the backside as well as maybe alleviating some tension that we're feeling within the body. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to have Sarah and Bam come onto their stomach. We're going to start in a nice quick little prone decompression, get it a little bit active and tune into the breath before we start. From their tummy position, they're going to tuck their toes and pull their toes up towards their shins nice and strong. Their feet are anywhere from about a fist width to 2 fist widths apart. As they pull the toes up, they're going to gently rotate their thighs in to get those heels to point outward. So if you're going to notice, both of their heels are slightly pointing out. And then I'm going to allow them to pressurize the knees or thighs into the mat to their liking. This is going to be up to you, so whatever feels good inside of your body. Just make sure those knees and thighs are down. From there, the forehead's going to start down on the mat. And they're going to start crawling their fingertips up overhead, thinking of getting as long as they can. Imagine you have some glue onto the fingertips or palms to anchor them down to the floor. Readjust the toes if needed to really make sure those toes are pulling up. Heels extending down, hands reaching up above. We're now going to start to tap into the breath. They're going to both be breathing nice and deep into their belly button, expanding their abdomen into the floor. And then with each breath after that, they're going to slowly start trying to move that breath into the back space, up into the shoulder blades, into the sides of ribs. These nice big expansive breaths. Take a nice full inhale through the nose. You can control the exhale gently through the mouth. As you keep breathing upwards, we can even focus again into the sides of the rib cage, trying to expand east and west with each inhale. And as Bam's inhaling here, imagine getting taller, getting longer. If you have any tension that you're holding in your body, you can focus your breath and attention there. Feel free to make any adjustments as needed. You're not stuck in this position. We're going to go for about 30 more seconds. And again, just using this to start checking in with the body, seeing how things are feeling here. Bringing some awareness into our practice and the short little sequence that we're going to go through. We got 15 more seconds, so let's get a couple more nice strong breaths. Big inhale, getting longer, getting taller. And let's get one last full inhale and exhale. And after that next exhale, slowly make your way into tabletop position. We're going to start heating up nice and slow, but it'll come on quick. So from our tabletop position, hands just right underneath the shoulders. We're going to get the knees directly underneath the hips, and we're going to start pulling those hips back into our rockers. And we can start a little bit more passively here as we start rocking into the knees, hips, and ankles. Range is up to you. If you want to work the hips all the way back to the heels, that's totally fine. What we want to notice with Bam is this nice long spine he's maintaining as he rocks in and out. Again, you can see the different paces him and Sarah are going at. This is totally variable and up to you. Now that we're about 20 or 30 seconds in, we're going to start trying to activate into the back side. So I'm going to have them imagine ripping that mat apart between the knees, maybe even gently pressing the tops of the feet down and really working those heels outwards. Main goal with pulling those knees apart is trying to find more tension and engagement towards the back side here. And see Sarah's range where she's working this nice little pulse. This is probably where she's really feeling that nice activation towards the back side. We're going to go for 30 more seconds here. Again, really start working into the back. If you're getting any sort of pinching or tension toward the front side, feel free to elevate your hands onto a couple yoga blocks, maybe a stool or something around a couch level to really start pulling into that back space. Last 10 seconds. Get your last few here, really working into that back space. 3, 2. Next, we're going to sit back and hold that rocker, find that engagement into the glutes, and we're going to slowly float the hands up to the chest. As we sit here, I want to keep anchoring those hips back, finding the back chain more and more. We're going to gently think of pulling that chin back, finding a better position for that neck, so we're finding length into that cervical spine as well. Sarah's imagining like the top of her head is being anchored up towards the sky. Hips are pulling out and back as those knees rip apart. If you're feeling the low back start to fire up at all, think of just gently pulling down into the glutes a little bit, maybe with a slight tuck, but don't lose that curvature in the lumbar. Shoulders are gently rolling back and pulling down. We're not squeezing back with too much tension, just making sure that anything's not pulling forward, especially the shoulders or the neck. All right, on our next inhale together, we're gonna reach these arms straight up overhead, thumbs up towards the sky, palms facing in. Try to reach those hips back just a little bit further, fingers extending up towards the sky, and then find those nice decomp breaths we were starting with. So you're gonna notice as Sarah's inhaling here, it's gonna be big breaths in the front and back space, gently pulling that inhale up, thinking of getting taller. As we exhale now, start forcing that exhale out just a little stronger to get that front side to start to pull in to maybe help support that low back a little bit if you're feeling that fire up. We got one more inhale. On your next exhale, we're gonna slowly lower the hands back down to the chest, reset those shoulders back, and now we're gonna start going into some of our unsupported rockers. We got just 30 seconds here before we go into our next ISO hold. So again, move at your pace. Main focus, finding that back space, making sure we're not feeling any tension into the hips or those quads. Again, if you are, just elevate the hands and modify it a little bit. Your pace. We got 15 more seconds here. Stay with your breath. Your breath is your guide. When you start getting in your mind like it's getting hard, focus onto the breath. We can always squeeze out a little bit more. 3, 2, get one more. We're gonna sit back and hold. On your next inhale, extend the arms back overhead and reach. Good, nice big reach. You can see we have a couple different variations. Sarah has her hands apart, which is totally fine. Bam is imagining like he's got a big globe or sphere between his hands, maybe even pressing those fingertips together. Slight little bend to the elbows. Big inhales, just as when we're on our stomach. Think of getting taller, getting longer, and creating space. Strong exhale, allowing that front side to really knit in, making sure those ribs aren't flaring too far forward. Check in with that back space, make sure we're not compressing too much there. Again, if it is feeling like we're getting a lot of fire back here, we can just do a little tuck, pulling those glutes down to maybe pull more pressure into the back side. On your next exhale, slowly release the hands to the chest. And we're gonna go now into our side-to-side rocker. So hips are gonna shift to the right and pull back. We're gonna come up and around, shift over, and sit back into that other side. So now we're pulsing from right to left. Again, at your own pace. Just make sure you're trying to really pull the hips back into the back space. Notice Bam switch to toes tucked. Again, giving your body what feels good and what it needs. There's not a right or wrong position here in terms of the setup. We're gonna go for the last 15 seconds before we go into our last little hold. Good work, stay with it. We're gonna do our best to make it through this full sequence without stopping. Again, if you do need a break at any time, give yourself that break. But again, do your best to maintain and stay with it. 3, 2, 1, sit back and hold. On the next inhale, as we reach the hands forward, we're gonna rotate internal this time, pinkies towards the sky. And I want you to start pulling your feet away so we get that nice internal rotation into the thighs, working those deep corners, and holding into that space again. Last 15 seconds here, strong breath, stay with it. Full inhales, full exhales. Again, getting long, getting long. 5, 4, 3, 2, and lower the hands back down to the chest. We're gonna bring the hands back down to the mat, sit the hips all the way to the heels. Quick little 15-second break here, side to side, before we make our way onto our feet and bring this up into our standing founder's pose. As we get up, we're gonna be very mindful from our Seiza position. We're gonna bring our left foot forward, and we're just gonna step up, left side, just being mindful that we're loading to that outer edge, pulling into the hip, tuck the back toes, and we'll make our way to our standing position. From here, I'm gonna have Bam and Sarah maybe step their feet almost to the width of your mat. Again, whatever feels good to you. If you wanna go all the way to the width, or if you wanna stand a little bit narrow, just give whatever your body is wanting at this moment. From here, check the feet. We're gonna make sure our feet are pointing straight forward with that second toe, maintaining those strong arches. And now we're gonna start sitting back into those hips, hands onto the chest, gently pulling the shoulders back. And I want a slight little bend to the knees here. Good, we're gonna hold here for 20 seconds in this space. Try to find that same sensation and pressure you were getting on the ground. Again, this is why we did that groundwork first, to really pull into that back space so as we're on 2 feet, we can feel it here. Good, you have the option to work with maybe getting those knees to gently rotate out by rotating the thigh and shins open, or if you want to work more into our hinge world, we can rotate the thighs and shins in. Again, this is up to you and your body and whatever you're feeling in this moment. We don't want the knees completely locked out. Keep that little slight bend. On the next inhale, we're going to shoot and reach those arms forward and up to the sky. Reach the hips back. I don't mind a little bit of excess weight into the heels here, especially if you're trying to keep that pressure into the back space. Now again, we're in another form of decompression. We're reaching and getting long with the inhales. As we exhale, strong into the front side, allowing that to pull down. Really root into the feet. Think of gently ripping the feet apart onto the mat. That'll help maintain the arches. One more big inhale. As we exhale, we'll pull the hands back. And now let's start going into a few reps. So I want you to reach the hips back even more, really find those hamstrings. And then we're gonna squeeze forward. Nice short reps here. This is 2, 3, 4. We're gonna get 10 reps here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Last one. We're gonna sit back and hold. This time maybe go into the opposing structure that you were holding last time. So if you're holding more shins and thighs open on that first set, maybe start trying to rotate, work into those hamstrings and those corners. On the next inhale, let's reach the hands forward and up again into our second set. Breathe. Try to find that lift from the upper back and the lats here, not just the shoulders. Check in with those shoulders. Make sure they're staying down away from the ear, that we're not reaching up with those traps. Again, as you watch all of our bodies here, you see that we're all going into slightly different variations, but the patterns are in general the same. We're working into that back space, staying active into the glutes and hammies. Let's slowly lower the hands on the next exhale. And we're gonna go right back into those reps, just 10 reps, solid. Pushing the hips back, finding that length. Squeezing back forward. Notice as we come up, we're keeping those hips back. We're not bringing the hips forward into this front space. Got just a few more reps here. 3, 2, 1. Sit back and hold. From here, we're going to slowly keep sitting back, bring the hands down to the floor. Find your deepest resting squat all the way down. Good work, everyone. You can see how much work that was. Again, this is variable up to you, how much effort you put in. You can make it a little gentler. You can make it a little spicier as we did here today. I want to thank Bam and Sarah for working through this short little sequence with us. Go ahead and give it a try and let us know what you think.